Put your hands together for our View from the Top moderator, Axios publisher, Nicholas Johnston.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Nicholas Johnston. I'm the publisher of Axios. Thank you so much for being here today. This is our second time in New York City for an AI summit. It's awesome to see such a huge crowd out today. Thanks for being here. Also, a huge thanks to all of our partners. Nothing we do at Axios is possible without the support of our partners. The investments we make in journalism around the country, awesome events like this, convening folks together. So a huge thanks to BCG for helping make today's event possible. And I'm very excited to welcome to the stage for a View from the Top conversation from BCG. This is someone who talks to a lot of executives about navigating transformation, including AI. Their managing director and senior partner, Vlad Lukic. Vlad, welcome to the Axios stage. How are you, sir?
Very good. Good to see you.
Great to see you. Let's start big picture. What I love talking with folks from BCG is you folks bring data and research. And you recently led a study looking at how leaders should confront and deal with AI. Unpack some of what you learned as part of that research.
We have to do studies because when we tell people what's going on, they don't trust us, so we have to bring data. So the most recent study we did was over 1,000 companies trying to find out what's happening with AI, right? A few surprising things. Over 75% of them are with budgets in this year deploying AI at scale. But only 25% of them have a line of sight to value creation from those activities.
That's a big gap.
It's a pretty big gap.
What's in the middle there? They're spending money without realizing where to go?
It's interesting. It's a combo of fear and worry that they're going to fall behind if they don't start investing into it, right? And they feel urgency to do something about it. But one of the failure points is also they think of it as a project. We're going to just start, we're going to do it, and then when this AI thing is over, we move on. And very few of them actually think of it as something that needs to be part of their DNA and totally wired into their operating model.
I want to come back to the DNA part, but take a little bit of a detour just to talk about agentic AI, just as a topic. Like, as we wrap our heads around what AI is, that's a huge piece of it now. How does that fit into the way organizations are kind of setting up these roadmaps?
Well, there was, when we think about agents, think about flying planes, right? Like autonomous pilots have been driving planes for the last 20, 30 years. And we don't have conversations around, is that safe, is it not safe, should we use it, should we not use it? So the fact that a lot of folks are now super excited about these new agents is the fact that we can bring in LLMs into the mix that give you a chance to reason and give you some choices and simulate a bit of thinking in the process, right? So that's what's happening right now. And a lot of companies are saying, maybe if I can deploy these thinking agents in there, it can help me do things in a different and faster way. So it's just a new moment that's happening right now.
But it's interesting that you mentioned pilots there, like an occupation that a lot of us probably trust quite a bit whenever we get on an airplane. And the concern around LLMs is that trustworthiness. How can companies navigate that to make sure that they're implementing things that they can trust?
Yeah, and it comes down to the basics, being super clear around what is the business objective, what are you solving for, versus let's just deploy it and see what comes out of it. So that need to be you need to be crystal clear around the business objective. And then two, do it in bite-sized chunks so that you can test what's coming in, what's coming out of it, and you can make sure it's being done the right way, and then you start stringing it all together versus deploying one all-knowing agent.
It's interesting you mentioned this. This is something that's comes up in a lot of AI conversations I have with folks, is that it was previously, it's like, well, let's just get an LLM and see what it does. It's no, find an LLM to do a specific thing and give it a specific task. Is that where you see success?
Correct.
In companies?
And start top down from what are we solving for, right? And is it a different customer experience? Is it solving inefficiency in the process? Is it giving us information at a different moment in time when we need to make a critical decision? Once you have that anchor, that true north then gives you clarity on should you even have an LLM in that part of the step, or if yes, which type of them, etc.
Right. In your research and in your conversations with executives, what separates those who get it right versus those who don't?
Yeah, so there are a few things that I found surprising, but then when you step back, it actually is super obvious. The first one is they do fewer things, which I found counterintuitive. I thought that the leaders are going to be having many more use cases where they're deploying these things, right? But the leaders actually do fewer things, but they stick with them longer, and they go deeper in solving roadblocks to actually deploy these solutions. So that's one big pattern.
Yeah.
The second one is they go into the guts of the business. They go into the core workflows. And then if you think about it, my surprise was, why would you go at the essence of the business with something that is unknown? Well, reality is that's where the value is. That's where the high stakes are.
Right.
That's where you create a competitive edge. And therefore, the ones that succeed don't shy away from going into the guts of the business. And then the last one is they're very aggressive in reshaping the incentives and the workflows and how they do things, right? The operating model, and they don't shy away from it.
It sounds like the advice you would give to an executive who throws up their hand not knowing what to do is just focus. Pick a thing at the core of your business and go straight at that instead of seeing AI as just a cure-all for everything.
Yes, and make it your agenda item.
Yeah.
Make something that you are actively engaging on and pushing top down to
Like something at the executive
force
level.
the conversations on it, yes.
Well, bring us into the real world. So many AI conversations are theoretical. Like, have you seen real applications of executives who have thought correctly, who have brought that kind of focus and have actually moved the needle? Like, what are some examples?
Yeah,
that
like
you have in your mind?
hundreds of examples, right?
Yeah.
But if you take in insurance, underwriting processes are being cut down from 20 days to a day. Claims processing is being cut down from 2 to 3 weeks down to hours, right? In the banking sector, we are seeing dramatic impact on just reviewing the applications at a totally different pace, right? In retail, publishing a new product online, we're talking about minutes now versus in the past could be weeks before you could publish something. With
Right.
one of the clients who took a marketing campaign from 2 weeks from 2 months down to a couple of days. So these are dramatic improvements.
And are you seeing this have material impact? Like, this is saving money, they're able to change how they hire, they're able to change who they hire, are they having material impacts for these companies?
Yes and no. I see it when the thing that they have solved for was a bottleneck in the process before.
Right.
If I can now do something much faster, but I don't do anything with my extra time, or my customer doesn't experience it in a different way, or I don't translate it into my pricing, there is zero impact. So what differentiates really the performers that are seeing returns is they focus effort on those processes and steps that are actually a bottleneck today, and it makes a difference versus it was just, I'm more efficient now, but I'm not capturing it.
Is there something just over the horizon that you're really excited about? Like, what is the next thing that we're going to be talking about when we're back on stage in a year from now? What do you think will be the focus of it?
I think there's no one thing. It's a collection of these things. I'm expecting the costs of getting this technology to continue dropping. I'm expecting that accessibility of it is going to continue to be better. Reliability is going to keep getting better. The game changer for me is going to be that more folks are using it and are more comfortable with how to use it and be more effective at it.
They're learning those steps on how to focus it on specific things, like actual use cases instead of like, we do AI.
Correct. And going back, it's fascinating when I compare executives in companies that I would call AI first or digital natives versus those that are more traditional. The ones that are in the native kind of category, they talk about business objectives, the customer needs, the friction points, all the stuff that business people talk about. Then I go to the more traditional companies and the business leaders are talking about, is this real? How much it costs? How fast is it going to come? Should we really do it or should we wait?
Yeah.
So they don't spend any time talking about business, right? And this is what I'm seeing. When this changes, you're going to start seeing much more adoption and deployment.
Got it. Before we get the hook here, I'd like to end on one fun thing, because we're at an AI summit. It's going to be one AI thing. How are you using AI in your personal life? Give me a fun use case.
And I can't say that I take my daily Axios newsletter and pop it into
Please do not.
for the summary. I'm starting, I use it daily for a huge range of things, but the one that I've been testing with recently is simulating conversations before going into them. There's so much info about any one of us, so if I go to meet with a CEO, I said, if we're going to have the following topic, what will be the questions on top of her mind that she's going to be passionate about and I need to be ready for? And it's fascinating.
You have the LLM role play the person you're going to have a conversation
Correct.
with. And you play yourself.
And I play myself and I have the conversation.
How similar when you go to talk to the real person?
It's fascinating. I actually tell them when I get there that I did that. Oh boy, does it change the conversation. They're like, what did it say? And then I read the questions.
He said you'd exactly say that.
They're like, well, let's start there, right? So it's actually pretty interesting.
All right, now we're inside the matrix. That is an awesome use case. I'm going to go downstairs and use it right now. Vlad, thanks for being here. Thanks to BCG for making this possible. The conversations are going to continue with my friend Ashley Gold.
Awesome.
Thanks a lot.